So what's up, guys? Suda the Savage back, and oh my god. So you already know, usually when I come on and I talk about the Saints, usually you know that is not a good thing, but this is a new thing I'm doing this season. I'm going to be doing like a recap for every single Saints game, because we got one down, 15 to go, at least minimum 15 to go, but it is awesome because we just came off a 34-23 victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on opening day. Now, usually in the past few years, you know, opening day has not really been a thing for the Saints, but this year is different. Well, last year was like our first time in like 5 years that we won an opening day match. But no, this is different. I'm going to be getting into the game today, just kind of like some statistics, what we did well, what could we work on, and all that, and who was like best players on the team. So anyways, without further ado, let's get this video started. Alright, so to start it off, I'm going to start off with the scoring summary of the game, or just kind of like a summary of the game in general. So starting off, Saints, we get first ball, and they punt to us, and starts off with a pass to Taysom Hill. And, you know, we get a first down, and then immediately go 3 and out. So after that, we punt. Buccaneers get their first possession of the game, and, you know, they start off decently, but of course, they would go on to score the first touchdown of the game, and that was aided by 2 pass interferences. One was rather questionable. It was a 6-yarder on Malcolm Jenkins, and the other one was Brady was going for Mike Evans, and Marshawn Lattimore interfered with him. That one was not so questionable. So they score, so it's already 7-0. And then the Saints, you know, we get the next ball, but we don't really do much. Don't quite go 3 and out, but we had a very short drive. We punt, and then the Buccaneers, we immediately force a 3 and out. So already, that was amazing, because like our defense, you know, had a rough start, like, you know, bad first drive, but then we come back and force 3 and out. And then on the very next drive, we take the lead. You know, we start driving at the end of the first quarter, going into the second quarter. We get our very first score, which was a 12-yard, kind of like a screen pass to Alvin Kamara. So thank God Kamara is back. I knew that once he came back, he would be a massive threat once he's fully healthy. So then, of course, the Buccaneers get the next ball, and Brady overthrows Mike Evans and goes right into the hands of my boy Marcus Williams, coming up clutch, gets the big interception, and then on the very next drive, the Saints score. But we did also get a little bit of an aid from pass interference call as, you know, Breeze goes to pass to Emmanuel Sanders, but gets fouled by Whitehead. Now, there was a little bit of question on that, but he grabbed his jersey as he was trying to catch the ball, so he was just like grabbing it and pulling that on him. So, yeah. That ended up putting us right on the 2-yard line, and then Kamara just banged it in for a touchdown. And then on the very next drive, you know, the Buccaneers, they make a drive down the field, and of course we get an unnecessary roughness penalty. Now, Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans, you know, last season when they faced off in the Superdome, Evans was held to 0 yards. So obviously him and Lattimore have some bad blood, and that was on full display today. And, you know, they make some progress, and, you know, they're in range for a 54-yard field goal, but the Saints end up with a block. We block that field goal, and we immediately regain possession. And even though we tried, we almost went 3 and out, but fortunately we did pull an offside on them on a 4th and 2, so we got to continue the drive and just ended up with a field goal, you know. Not the way I would have wanted to end it, but you know what? I'll take any score I can get. And then the Buccaneers, they get the ball back, and of course we force a punt after 4 plays. And, you know, maybe there was a chance that we could get like a kick where we could get like a pass down the field to get into field goal range, but we had like 9 seconds and about 20 yards to get, so Brees just takes a knee, and then we go into the second half. And immediately as the second half starts, you know, Brady's like starting to drive down the field a little bit, but then throws a pick to Janoris Jenkins, and he takes that 36-yarder right in for a touchdown. So the Saints go up 24-7. So already I'm feeling pretty comfortable. I'm just saying, look, let's just try to ice it as quickly as possible. You know, just make sure that they, you know, have some trouble, and yeah. But anyways, on the very next play, Brady throws a pass for Mike Evans, and Marshawn Lattimore completely commits a PI. Now, no, actually Marcus Williams, but The reason Marshawn was supposed to be on him, but they had him go in so he could try to swat the ball, which left Evans open, and that led Marcus Williams to the defensive pass interference, and of course the Buccaneers quickly score. And so the Saints get the ball back, but of course we didn't quite go 3 and out again, but of course did not help ourselves whatsoever, and they got the ball back like immediately. And then, but of course our defense, they showed up, and then they forced the Buccaneers to punt after only 4 plays. And then, of course, the Saints, we go 3 and out, so that was awful. And the Buccaneers, they drive down the field, but are only able to kick a 38-yard field goal. So already I am just so freaking nervous because we had a 24-7 lead, and now all of a sudden it's only a 24-17 lead. And then immediately we go 3 and out, so I'm thinking, come on, are we serious? Are we about to blow it? But then we force the Buccaneers to go 3 and out. And, the Saints, we start driving down the field. And eventually, Breeze finally connects with Emmanuel Sanders for his first touchdown as a Saint. So already I was getting super excited thinking, okay, we just got the lead back. And then on the very next play, we punt. And of course, when Sanders scored the touchdown, there was a face mask penalty that the Buccaneers committed. So we got to enforce that on kickoff. And what ended up happening was the Buccaneers go for it on the kickoff, but they fumble it and the Saints recover it. We kill off some clock. Unfortunately, did not get a touchdown, but we did get a field goal, so, that was nice. And, of course, we forced another 3 and out on the Buccaneers, and then we just kind of ran out the clock. And, the Tom Brady got like one good chance in garbage time and finally connected with Mike Evans for a touchdown. So Evans finally got his first catch in the Superdome in 2 games. So that is just legit that we've been able to keep one of the best receivers in the league so limited. But then, of course, Saints, we just need to run out the clock. But of course, what happens is on a 2nd and 6 on the Tampa Bay 47, Breeze takes it, pitches it back to Taysom Hill. Now, everyone's thinking that Taysom's going to run, but it was just a trick play because he throws the ball deep down the field right to Alvin Kamara for the score. And not quite the score, but a huge game, which basically said, game's over. And, of course, we tried to burn out more of the clock, and then on a 4th and goal, Alvin Kamara, we do a counter play where we just, like an HB toss. And Kamara goes in for the touchdown, but unfortunately, after review, his foot went out of bounds before he could break the plane, so no touchdown. But then the Buccaneers got one last rush, and that was it. So that's done. Now we're done with the recap, and now for the positives and negatives of the game. Positives, well, it's interesting. So let's start with the offense. Drew Brees threw for about 160, went 18 for 30, threw for 160 yards and 2 touchdowns. So obviously, definitely not his great performance, but he was under a whole lot of pressure the whole game because, the Bucs actually have a pretty good defense, especially around the front 7. The secondary has been improving, but Brees just had a little bit of trouble with that, just had some trouble adjusting to it. But, in the end, he did an okay job. Had a little bit of a stint where he had some trouble. That was especially, in the 3rd quarter. But we rebounded very, 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 very nicely. And so in terms of the rushing game, Latavius Murray had the most carries, had about 15 carries for about 48 yards. Sadly, he got no touchdowns. Now, Alvin Kamara, he had 12 carries for 16 yards. Now, that might sound terrible. He did get a touchdown, but also he did have 51 receiving yards and a touchdown. So he's proving that he's getting better. And, he's always been pretty good. But last year, I know he was dealing with an injury. So it definitely caused him to regress quite a bit. And Michael Thomas sadly only had 3 receptions for 17 yards. The Bucs D did an amazing job at containing him. Now, there was talks that he faced a little bit of an injury, which I could see because this isn't like Michael Thomas. But, of course, thankfully, Jared Cook and Emmanuel Sanders did a good job kind of filling the void. And the big guy was Jared Cook, 5 receptions for 80 yards. And he had the biggest momentum shifting play because when we were having some trouble when we were only up by 7 on the Bucs, Brees skied out a nice 46-yard pass to Jared Cook. One of the longest passes he's made in a while, but Cook was there for it. And Emmanuel Sanders, he only had 3 catches for 15 yards, but had 1 touchdown, which was very nice. So yeah, Saints receiving didn't do too much. So honestly, I'm going to give the Saints offense today a 6.5. It could have been higher, but, if it wasn't for that third quarter stint or that awful start in the first quarter, that's the reason why it's 6.5. Like, now it's pretty modest, but yeah. And then over to the defense. The defense today did a very, very good job. Guys like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Janoris Jenkins, Demario Davis, Malcolm Jenkins, Trey Hendrickson, Cameron Jordan. We did an amazing job today keeping the Buccaneers in check. We limited Brady to about 239 yards and 2 touchdowns. But the thing is, he padded quite a bit of those stats in garbage time. Like before garbage time, he only had about a touchdown and a pick in under 200 passing yards. But yeah, we did a very good job against him. But the only thing that was rough for us today was our discipline, because we took 6 penalties today for about 119 yards. 4 of those were pass interference, and those were on Malcolm Jenkins, which was a small one, Marshawn Lattimore, Patrick Robinson, and Marcus Williams. So that all combined for almost 100 yards. So we can't be doing that. So today I'm going to give, and well, of course we did a great job rushing against Brady. We sacked him 3 times. We had Demario Davis with the sack, Trey Hendrickson, and Granderson. Don't mind that, but today I'm going to give the Saints defense a 7 out of 10. I think it could have been, like I said, like at the offense, it could have been higher, but if we just didn't take so many pass interference penalties, like I'd say if we took like 2 penalties, or even if we took all 4, but most of them did, and if they didn't end up leading to scores like touchdowns, and they only led to like field goals, I probably would have given us more like a 7.5 or an 8. If we took no pass interferences at all and still stuffed them, I'd give them a 9 or a 10. But of course, the pass interference did cost us quite a bit. But of course, looking at the Bucs, Brady, is he still part of the Belichick system? But I think he's regretting that, because he had 2 touchdowns but 2 picks at the same time, so that was not good. The biggest highlight of the Bucs today was Ronald Jones II, as he had 66 rushing yards. Although Leonard Fournette saw very little action, only had 5 carries for 5 yards and had 1 reception for 14 yards. And of course, Gronk was also very limited, as he had 2 receptions for 11 yards. Your big man today was Chris Godwin, as he had 6 receptions for 79 yards. Your guy, like number 10, is Miller, had 5 receptions for 73 yards. And even though Mike Evans only had 2 receiving yards and a touchdown, he was responsible for at least over 70 yards for pass interferences. So even though he only had 1 reception, we can't forget that he did a very good job at drawing those penalties, even though we interfered with him so much. That's the only inexcusable part. But other than that, I'm happy with the Saints win. Now, sure, of course, both teams made mistakes, but to me, the Buccaneers made a couple of more crucial mistakes. Like the Saints, yeah, we had some mistakes, but we were always able to, come back after them. But the Buccaneers, whenever they made a mistake, we would capitalize on that. And that is ultimately what led to today's victory. So today I'm going to give the Saints a 7.5 out of 10. Like I said, if we didn't have such a bad first quarter, if we didn't collapse, if we didn't choke in the third quarter outside the Janoris Jenkins pick 6, and if we just didn't take so many PIs, that's a big factor. And of course the offense, if we were able to get the passing game going more, if we didn't have so many drives where we didn't do too much. So I'll give us a solid 7.5. I'll give the Buccaneers a 6 out of 10. I'll give them a 6 because, they had 1 good drive in the first quarter, and Brady, of course, had a rushing touchdown. He had 9 rushing yards today, but he is the master of QB sneaks, so that makes sense. But yeah, they were okay today, but they really only had 1 good quarter. Actually, to me, they had 2 good quarters. But of course, their defense played well. Their offense didn't really produce too much until garbage time, and did get a lot of help from the Saints' many, many mistakes. So that's why I can't fully give them anything higher. So Saints get a 7.5, Buccaneers get a 6. On to the outro. And that is going to wrap up my video for today. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Now this is coming out every single week. Well, at least not week 6 because that's the Saints bye week. But anyways, this is going to be coming out after every single Saints game. So y'all better be ready for it. If you like this video, make sure to click the like button. If you haven't done it already, subscribe to this channel. Comment down below what you thought of this game. What grade would you give the Saints? Like, how would you rate the Saints? How would you rate the Bucs? How would you rate like the team overall in today's game? And if you want to see my NFL Week 1 predictions, link to that will be in the description below. And make sure to follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok at SudoTheSavage. Thank y'all for watching. Have a great day. Who Dat Nation 1-0, about to go 19-0, and I am out.